Exclusive contracted novel by Feilu Novel Network. All people. Necromancer, just want to plant trees. What kind of ghost at the beginning, awaken the necromancer profession and activate the only talent. Balance. Each oak tree planted can summon 10 skeleton soldiers. The more planted, the stronger and more undead spirits can be summoned. Terror knights, bone dragons, dragon witches, and death gods can all have them. So, amidst everyone's lack of understanding, Changan began to plant trees. Not long after, the dimension was turbulent and all realms were interconnected. The Abyss Lord leads an endless invasion of demons, only to be submerged by endless undead spirits after breaking a tree. The entire army is buried in the forest as fertilizer. The gods of the divine realm have descended, intending to intimidate the world with divine punishment and harvest faith with divine grace. However, due to the careless destruction of the forest, the infinite death god was introduced, causing all the gods to fall and turning the divine realm into a tree realm. Chang'an expressed responsibility for this and issued a statement. Anyone who touches my tree will die. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. 1. Planting trees makes you stronger, who is still working hard. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The turmoil of the traces of the heavens is intensifying, and more monsters are coming to this world. Now is the time when the country and society need the power of professionals. Changan, a professional genius like you who has awakened the profession of necromancer, how can you not kill monsters and level up by taking dungeons? But instead of abandoning oneself and planting trees on the outskirts of a small city. As long as you. Kyushu, Changfeng Province, the forest on the outskirts of Fengchen City. Wearing a white robe, with a gentle and approachable temperament, Yi Lingyin is as warm as the afternoon sunshine, and has a broad heart that gathers people's hearts. He was earnestly persuading a young man named Changan who was planting trees. But for the persuasion of the beautiful teacher around him, Changan didn't listen to a word. But instead, he took out a bottle of medicine containing green liquid from his arms and dripped a drop of green liquid towards the just planted tree. The next moment, a rich breath of life bloomed. Just planted by Changan, looking at the saplings that are still slightly wilting. Instantly becoming vibrant and full of spring. At the same time when the saplings changed. A prompt also appeared in front of Chang'an's eyes. Successfully planted and survived an oak, triggered by the power of balance, 10 skeleton soldiers, LV-10, were summoned by you to this world. 300 oak trees have been planted and survived in total, and the power of balance erupts. A death knight, LV-60, is summoned by you to this world. With the appearance of these two prompts, Changan immediately felt the presence of 10 skeleton soldiers and a death knight in the soil beneath his feet. And these skeletons and death knights have all established a spiritual connection with Changan between the necromancer and necromancer summoners. As long as a thought flashed through my mind. These undead creatures will immediately break through the ground and contribute their power to themselves. Finally summoning a level 60 death knight. The next time the power of balance explodes, it's time for the bone dragon at level 70, right? Feeling the powerful power belonging to the death knight in the spiritual connection. Chang'an's heart is filled with joy and joy. 3 months ago, Changan traveled to this world where everyone switched jobs. And successfully transferred to become a necromancer, stronger than ordinary warrior mage professions, even if it is not much weaker than special professions. For a while, what is the top professional school, Jianfu, the strongest folk professional guild for saints, and even the military academy. We have all sent invitations to Changan, hoping to bring him over and become a part of them. But Changan did not agree to any of them, instead using his intention to plant trees and forests as an excuse to reject all those who invited him. Then he really ran into the wilderness on the outskirts of Fengchen City. I built a small wooden house and started my life of afforestation. At that time, everyone who knew about this matter could not understand Chang'an. Many people speculate about the events and actions of Chang'an, making it the undisputed protagonist in casual conversations after meals. Some people believe that Chang'an is crazy. So I set my sights on a bright future and instead went to the suburbs to become an environmentalist who was once prevalent before the Great Cataclysm. Some people also believe that Chang'an is too timid. Dare not fight monsters, dare not create dungeons to brush monsters, that's why I did this. 3 months later now, the people in Fengchen City have forgotten the existence of Chang'an. Only Yi Lingyin, the homeroom teacher from the 3rd year of high school in Chang'an, still remembers Chang'an. And from time to time, I come to do psychological work for Chang'an, hoping that Chang'an will stop planting trees and do what professionals should do. But giving up is impossible. Chang'an will never give up planting trees in his lifetime. As for the reason Chang'an opened his property panel. Name. Chang'an, occupation. Necromancer, level. LV1, 0%. Power. 10, physical strength. 10, agility. 10, intelligence. 10, spirit. 10 and a hidden attribute that is only visible to Chang'an himself. Talent. Balanced, only level talent, effect. 1. Extreme life. Every tree you plant and survive with your own hands will summon 10 skeleton soldiers, LV10, for you. The undead creatures summoned in this way have no limit on their quantity and do not occupy a spiritual control spot. 2. Life to death. The more trees you plant and survive, the stronger the summoned undead creatures will continue to increase. Current progress. 1 death night/300 trees. 3. Endless growth. The trees you plant with your own hands will summon a corresponding number and strength of undead creatures for you every year of growth. After planting and surviving 1,000 trees, the power of death will be activated. This is after Chang'an awakened and became a professional. The only level talent awakened at the same time. Thanks to this talent, Chang'an has spent these 3 months. A total of 3,000 skeleton soldiers, LV10, 150 walking corpses, LV20, 24 ghosts, LV30, 9 black warriors, LV40, and 4 witches, LV50, have been accumulated. And just now, that LV60 level Death Knight. Even a normal undead mage can summon a massive undead army. But they cannot control undead creatures beyond their own level, and a normal necromancer also has the maximum amount that spiritual power can control. After exceeding this quantity, the summoned undead creatures will break free from control. The dead creatures summoned by planting oak trees in Chang'an. But not only is there no level limit, there is also no quantity limit. As long as you plant trees, you can summon an infinite number of undead creatures with higher levels than yourself. And the surviving oak trees planted there grow naturally every year. We will once again provide Chang'an with the same number and strength of undead creatures. What does this mean? This means that as long as there are enough oak trees planted in Chang'an, he can spread his undead creatures all over the world and directly push the invincible world. As long as you plant trees, you can be invincible. Who still wants to compete with students from those universities? Go and fight against those professionals in the guild. Perhaps someone else would do this, but Chang'an wouldn't do it anyway. Others who are unaware of Chang'an's talent are unable to understand Chang'an's behavior. For example, Yi Lingyin, who is now standing next to Chang'an and giving advice to Chang'an. 2. Escape of dungeons. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chang'an. Chang'an. Are you listening? Yi Lingyin's soft shout. Wake Chang'an up from memories. He looked at Yi Lingyin in front of him and said, "Teacher, I know you're doing it for my good, but you really don't have to persuade me anymore. I just want to plant trees here well now, I don't want to do anything else." The only level talent, balance, is one's biggest trump card. Anyway, Chang'an will not reveal his trump card. So he didn't explain his situation to Yi Lingyin, but rather casually evaded it. But as a teacher who considers himself qualified, Yi Lingyin did not give up because of this. Chang'an, think about it carefully. If the second major disaster comes again, countless monsters are once again rushing into this world like they were over 100 years ago. If only you, the first level, can you. She continued to patiently advise Chang'an as usual. And while continuing to advise, behind Chang'an, in the central area of the oak forest, 3 black-robed people shrouded in black robes stopped in this oak forest. That's it here. Use my lord's power. The leader's black robe pointed to the ground below and issued a command. The 2 black-robed people behind each took out a scroll and tore it open together. 2 abilities, one black and one red, were immediately launched and entered the underground. Today, with the millions of creatures in this wind-scar city, come and welcome the arrival of my lord. 3 black-robed people cheered wildly together. Then he left this oak forest at the fastest speed possible. And shortly after they left, outside the oak forest, at Chang'an and Yi Lingyin, buzzing. A violent, earthquake-like spatial tremor. It's coming from the center of the oak forest. What happened? Chang'an and Yi Lingyin turned their heads together, looking towards the oak grove planted by Chang'an himself. I saw the sky above the oak forest. An irregular and violent fluctuation has occurred. And a group of light that violently changes and transforms among the 3 colors of red, black, and blue. First level dungeon Rampage. How could a dungeon suddenly appear in such a place? And it's also a dungeon that entered a rampage state as soon as it came out. Yi Lingyin's face changed greatly. A burst of unbelievable exclamation came out. And here the 4 words, Rampage Dungeon. Information related to it also emerged in Chang'an's mind. In this world, there will be random entrances that can enter dungeons. If these replicas appear, promptly enter them for cleaning. The level of the dungeon will gradually decrease until it completely disappears in the end. But if these copies are not cleaned up for a long time, the composition of the dungeon will become increasingly unstable, until it enters a state of dungeon rampage. And once the dungeon enters the dungeon rampage state, the monster that exists in the dungeon, it will continuously flood into this world, crazily searching for and slaughtering any living creature in this world. Therefore, in order to avoid the phenomenon of instance rampage causing damage to the city, the city guard of each city conducts a monthly sweep of the surrounding areas, and explore and record every place where new copies will appear. As a logistic city that supplies the frontline cities of the heavenly traces, Fengshan City has achieved a level of weekly sweeping and exploration. To ensure the safety of Wind Trace City and to ensure stable supply of supplies to the frontlines of the heavenly traces. But it's under such circumstances. A copy that has not been included in the record at all. And it is also a dungeon that enters a rampage state as soon as it appears. Appearing in front of Chang'an and Yi Lingyin. Chang'an, run quickly. Go back and notify the city guard, tell them about the occurrence of a dungeon rampage here. Let them quickly bring back all low-level professionals and ordinary people outside the city. Leave this to the teacher, I will help you buy time. The first time after the reaction, Yi Lingyin shouted at Chang'an. Chang'an couldn't help but be taken aback, looking at Yi Lingyin and asking, Teacher, isn't your profession a sage? Are you staying? Sage, an educational auxiliary profession with no combat skills, purely an auxiliary profession. Being beaten by combat professions that are 1 or 20 levels lower than them is the most normal thing. But now, as a professional sage, Yi Lingyin. But he chose to let Chang'an leave and stay alone to face the dungeon rampage. Buy time for the escape of Chang'an and the operation of the Fengshan City Guard. Although I don't have combat power, I have a very strong life-saving item. Even if we can't stop those monsters, delaying for a while can still be done. As long as you bring the city guard before I can't hold on, there won't be anything wrong with the teacher. You need to run faster. Whether the teacher can survive this time depends on whether you run fast or not. Yi Lingyin smiled and comforted Chang'an with 2 words. Then slowly turn around and face towards the entrance of the Rampage dungeon. And in the moment when facing the oak forest and facing away from Chang'an, the tense and uneasy expression replaced the smile on her face. She is just a level 33 sage, equivalent to the combat power of a level 10 combat professional. Even one person cannot complete the lowest level 0 level dungeon. Moreover, it is in a state of rampage. Every hour, a large number of first-order rampage dungeons of orcs emerge. But she had to face this rampage dungeon because it's outside Fengchen City. Her students are still leveling up in the low-level monster area outside the city. Those farmers who work outside the city are all working hard outside the city. If she doesn't stand up and delay the monsters' charge towards Wintrace City. So her students who are not even level 10, and those farmers who are just ordinary people, they will all be directly slaughtered by monsters. 3. Dare to touch my tree. Everyone die for me. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I hope the life-saving items given to me by Grandpa Chang can make me persevere. I also hope that disobedient guy can bring the members of the city guard quickly. Otherwise, I'm afraid I'll die here today. However, if I really die, I still hope that guy from Changan can realize the importance of power and improve his level well. In the midst of incessant fragmented thoughts, the unease in Yi Lingyin's heart gradually dissipated. She took out her weapon. A silver teaching whip, and the life-saving item given to her by her father. With a firm gaze and a determined expression, he waited for the monster to emerge from the rampage dungeon. But at this moment, Chang'an's voice suddenly sounded. Teacher, as a wise person, don't show off. Let me handle this now. Chang'an is not prepared to escape. The Rampage dungeon is located in the center of the oak forest. Once you start rampaging, it will inevitably cause damage to the oak trees you have planted. The survival of the oak tree directly affects its own strength. Anyway, Chang'an can't just leave the oak forest like this and just focus on running for his own life. Moreover, with the quantity and quality of undead creatures accumulated over the past 3 months, it's not certain who is strong or weak between oneself and this rampage dungeon. So, Chang'an decided to stay. Use your own strength to fight against this first-order rampage dungeon. But Chang'an's decision shattered Yi Lingyin's mentality. Chang'an, why are you still here? Looking at Chang'an standing in place without even moving his feet, Yi Lingyin is both angry and helpless. I almost cried. I risked my life to stay and procrastinate. Prepare for you to escape back to Wintrace City and inform the members of the city guard. So you didn't even move a bit. I advise you to work hard to improve your level and not listen. You still don't want to listen to me, do you? Why can't this person really listen to any persuasion? In a fit of anger, countless thoughts welled up in Yi Lingyin's mind. I can't help but want to speak up and curse Chang'an. Cruelly wake up Chang'an. But I haven't waited for her to speak yet. With a loud rumble, the light above the oak grove trembled once again. Next up, one green-skinned orc after another fell from the light ball like dumplings, smashing into the oak forest with a bang. Roar. Oh, oh, oh. Wah, wah, wah. The orcs who fell in the oak forest let out a loud roar, announcing their arrival to this world. Subsequently, these orcs landed on the ground. I discovered Chang'an and Yi Lingyin in the first moment and rushed towards them. Done. The monster has already come out. I can't even run away now. Now, not only will I and Chang'an die here. Even the students outside their own city, as well as other ordinary farmers working in agriculture. They are all going to suffer heavy casualties. Yi Lingyin's heart was filled with despair. But the emotions in Chang'an's heart are completely different from those of Yi Lingyin. Damn it! This is the tree I worked hard for 3 months to plant. I'm still counting on them to continue providing me with subsequent summon rewards. How dare you dare to smash them like this for me now? Looking at the oak trees that used to have dense branches. Now it has become bare, leaving only oak trees with their main trunk. Looking at those oak saplings that had only been planted for a few days and were swaying in the charge of the orcs. Changan was furious and waved his hand, shouting angrily. Skull Legion, get up. Pushi. Pushi. White bone melons stick out from the soil under the feet of those orcs one by one. Grasping the sawls of one orc after another, causing them to fall hard to the ground. Next, in the soil around these orcs. Countless wielding long swords and wearing bone armor. The skeleton soldiers with blue flames fluttering in their skulls crawled out of the soil. Surround all the orcs who have emerged from the Rampage dungeon. What's going on here? Watching it suddenly emerge. Suddenly, thousands of skeleton soldiers surrounded the orcs. Yi Lingyin is completely confused. What happened? How did so many skeleton soldiers suddenly emerge from this oak forest? And these skeleton soldiers also directly surrounded the monsters that came out of the Rampage dungeon. Are these skeleton soldiers all summoned by some necromancer? But there are no necromancers here either. No, there's one, Changan. Are these skeletons all summoned by Changan? Yi Lingyin couldn't help but look at Changan. But soon the idea in my mind was rejected. From professional awakening until now, Changan has been planting trees here and has not even killed a monster. How could it be possible to summon thousands of skeleton soldiers at once? A necromancer who can summon thousands of skeletal soldiers. At least level 30 or above, completed professional specialization. Only necromancers who have enhanced the undead creature summoning series skills can achieve it. A level 1 necromancer is simply impossible to achieve. But Yi Lingyin remembered the sentence that Chang'an had just shouted out, Skull Legion, get up. It was precisely after Chang'an shouted that sentence. These skeleton soldiers only emerged from the soil and surrounded the orcs. Can it be that these thousands of skeleton soldiers? Is it really Chang'an, a level 1 necromancer, who summoned it? Even at this point. Is it true that these skeleton soldiers were summoned by Chang'an? Yi Lingyin's heart remained half believing and half skeptical. But soon, Chang'an made Yi Lingyin completely believe it. Kill them all. Leave none behind. In Yi Lingyin's incredulous gaze. Under the command of Chang'an. All the skeleton soldiers immediately took action. Click. Click. The sound of friction between dense bones is heard. All the skeletal soldiers in the oak forest raised their weapons and fiercely attacked the orcs. Meanwhile, the skeletal soldiers who grabbed the orcs from deep underground with their palms. I also crawled out together and fought alongside the orcs around me. For a moment, in the entire oak forest. Everywhere are fighting skeleton soldiers and orcs. For, this talent is too abnormal, isn't it? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Just a gentle word. Let thousands of skeleton soldiers and orcs fight together. Someone should tell Yi Lingyin that Chang'an is not the owner of these skeleton soldiers. Yi Lingyin was the first to disbelief. But the problem is. Isn't Chang'an a level 1 necromancer? How did he manage to control thousands of skeleton soldiers with level 1 strength? Is it a natural ability? Has Chang'an awakened his talent? Yi Lingyin feels like she found the answer. Professionals have diverse talents. Weak, only to the extent of slightly increasing a few attribute points. Those who are powerful can become top level experts with their own talents. More than half of the top powerhouses in various countries around the world today are professionals who have awakened their powerful talents. Perhaps Chang'an has awakened a very powerful top-level talent. So it is possible to summon thousands of skeleton soldiers with the strength of a level 1 professional. It must be this reason. Only this reason can explain what Chang'an has achieved. Thinking of this, Yi Lingyin was very excited and asked Chang'an. Chang'an, is this your talent? Is your innate ability a talent that can greatly increase the summoning of undead spells? The talent for summoning undead with a huge increase in power. What is that? My undead creatures are all grown from trees. But Chang'an obviously cannot directly tell the truth to Yi Lingyin. So after a moment of contemplation, Chang'an nodded and said, "That's right, it's my talent." Yi Lingyin smiled and said happily, "Great. With such a powerful talent, you can definitely become a top professional powerhouse." Chang'an did not respond to Yi Lingyin. Because it was during his conversation with Yi Lingyin. The situation in the Oak Forest battlefield has reversed. The number of skeleton soldier legions summoned by Chang'an is large. There are a total of 3,000 skeleton soldiers, which is 3 times more than this group of rampaging orcs. But these orcs were originally only orcs at levels 12.15. But with the blessing of the rampage state in the dungeon, the level has been raised to levels 17.20. Compared to the level 10 skeleton soldiers in Chang'an's hands, they are generally 7.10 levels higher. Therefore, the skeleton army under Chang'an's command. Although it gained a great advantage in the early stages due to its quantity and ambush. But as soon as they engaged in a frontal battle with the orcs, they quickly fell into a disadvantage, with a faint trend of being completely annihilated by the orc army. Although possessing powerful top-level talents. But ultimately, there are only level 1 professionals who can only summon level 10 skeleton soldiers. These skeleton soldiers don't seem to be able to last much longer. Yi Lingyin quickly made a judgment on the battlefield situation. Then, she looked at Chang'an and said, "Chang'an, your skeleton legion won't last long. Let's hurry and leave now while they drag these orcs down." Yi Lingyin once again proposed to Chang'an to leave. Chang'an also once again rejected Yi Lingyin. "This oak forest is my 3 months' hard work. How can we just leave like this and let these orcs destroy here?" Yi Lingyin is impatient. Tree. 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 It's these trees again. Are these trees so important? Just waste 3 months of upgrade time. Now that we are facing a life and death crisis, why do we still value these trees so much? This guy doesn't listen to advice at all. I might as well just take this guy back with me. Yi Lingyin's gaze flickered as she looked at Chang'an. Be prepared to forcibly take away Chang'an. But she hasn't started yet. Chang'an in her field of vision waved his hand again and shouted. "Zombies, ghosts. Come out of here. Roar. Woo 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 woo." The soil in the oak forest is once again surging. More than 100 terrifying zombies with grey skin and heavy hammers in their hands. And more than 20 phantom figures emerged from the ground. Next, there is no need for Chang'an's command. These over 100 walking corpses and over 20 ghosts. Together with the skeleton soldiers summoned by Chang'an earlier. Joined the siege of the orcs. What is this situation? Zombies and ghosts. My eyes shouldn't be problematic, right? Watching the zombies and ghosts join the battlefield, crazily slaughtering orcs. Yi Lingyin couldn't help but rub her eyes. She felt that there must be something wrong with her eyes. Otherwise, how could you see a level 1 necromancer? Summoning over 100 level 20 zombies and over 20 level 30 ghosts. But no matter how she rubs her eyes, those zombies and ghosts still exist. Chang'an, these zombies and ghosts. Are they all your summoners too? The fact before us. Ask Yi Lingyin to ask Chang'an again. And Chang'an nodded lightly. It's true. Chang'an is a level 1 necromancer. Not only did it summon thousands of skeleton soldiers. He also summoned over 100 level 20 zombies and over 20 level 30 ghosts. Is Chang'an's talent too abnormal? Yi Lingyin couldn't help but shout in her heart. She originally thought that Chang'an's talent was only limited to the summoning of skeleton soldiers. Unexpectedly, even higher level undead spirits could be summoned. She has a classmate who is a necromancer like Chang'an. As soon as that student graduated from Tianfu University, he joined the frontline battlefield of the Traces of Heaven. Up to now, we have made many contributions and received multiple commendations from the military headquarters. I am currently a school-level officer and have the hope of becoming the youngest group of generals in the future. But even her fellow necromancer. There is no way to summon such a large undead army like Chang'an. What does this mean? This means just Chang'an, a level 1 professional. In terms of actual combat effectiveness, it has reached the level of frontline battlefield officers. 5. You're dying. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. With the addition of zombies and ghosts. The undead army in Chang'an completely overwhelmed the 1,000 orcs. Under the leadership of the undead led by zombies and ghosts. One orc after another was killed by the undead, and then turned into scattered starlight that dissipated between heaven and earth. And as these orc corpses dissipate and disappear, Chang'an also saw a large number of prompts in front of him. Overkill level 18 orcs and gain a lot of experience. Your level has been raised to level 2. Overkill level 20 orcs and gain a lot of experience. Your level has been raised to level 3. Overkill level 19 orcs and gain a lot of experience. Your level has been raised to level 4. The rate of level improvement for professionals is not fast. Even before level 10, it takes about a week to improve by level 1. But compared to Chang'an, who only has level 1, these orc levels are really too high. Therefore, every orc killed by the undead army, it can bring a lot of experience points to Chang'an. Let Chang'an's level soar rapidly like riding a rocket. It's just a dozen or so minutes. The 1,000 orcs that emerged from the Rampage dungeon were all killed by the undead legion under Chang'an's command. And Chang'an's personal level was also after these 1,000 orcs were completely annihilated. From level 1 to level 10. Name: Chang'an. Occupation: Necromancer. Level: LV10, 56%. Power: 100, physical strength. 100, agile. 100, intelligence. 100, spirit. 100, free attribute point. 100, talent. Balanced, only level talent. Did you quickly reach level 10? Look at the attributes that naturally increase as you level up. And those 100 free attribute points. A faint smile appeared on Chang'an's face. According to normal leveling speed, a normal combat professional, even if they go to dungeons to level up every day, it will take at least 2 months to upgrade from level 1 to level 10. And for myself, it only took a dozen or so minutes. It has been upgraded from level 1 to level 10. 3 months ago, I decided not to level up but to plant trees here. Indeed, it is a correct choice. As long as enough and strong undead creatures are accumulated, you can easily do things like leveling up, soaring levels and skyrocketing attribute values. Let Chang'an confirm that he made the right choice in the beginning. And firmly determined to continue planting trees and accumulating more undead creatures here. 1,000 orc armies at levels 15.20. So my student, a level 1 undead mage, was eliminated like this. At the same time as Chang'an's level skyrocketed, Yi Lingyin also developed an unreal illusion. 1,000 monsters around level 20, even if the city guard takes action. At least 10 casualties are needed to completely annihilate them. But Changan, on its own, annihilated it all. He has really been planting trees for the past 3 months. Instead of secretly setting up dungeons and leveling up monsters. Yi Lingyin couldn't help but feel such suspicion in her heart. But after seeing the oak grove planted by Chang'an himself, she had to dispel this idea again. Planting trees and ensuring the survival of seedlings is not an easy task. No one can level up to summon monsters of this scale while planting a forest. Besides, even if it's really going to kill monsters and create dungeons, it's also impossible to upgrade to this level within 3 months. So, the only reasonable explanation is that this is Chang'an's innate ability. The dreamy feeling in Yi Lingyin's heart suddenly disappeared, leaving only an incredibly strong sense of happiness. I am happy that Chang'an has such a powerful talent. But in addition to being happy, Yi Lingyin also did not forget her current situation. After all these monsters are destroyed, the next batch of monsters will take an hour to arrive. Let's get out of here now and go back and notify the city guard. Yi Lingyin proposed her suggestion to Chang'an. But once again, Chang'an did not listen to this suggestion. But instead, he turned his gaze to the entrance of the Rampage dungeon above the oak forest. The first wave of monsters in the Rampage dungeon is just the beginning, if it continues to exist. In the next hour, 2,000 orcs will emerge, followed by 3,000, 4,000 at that time, whether it was the destruction of the orcs or the battle between the Windscar city guard and the orcs. They will inevitably cause great damage to their own oak forests. So, even if it's just to preserve these trees within oneself, I can't just leave like this. Chang'an shook her head and said, I spent 3 months planting this forest, I can't just leave it like this. Teacher, you should go back first. After processing this copy, I will go and report your safety. Yi Lingyin was suddenly startled, unable to help but exclaim in shock. Do you want to clear this Rampage dungeon? Chang'an nodded. Yi Lingyin quickly grabbed onto Chang'an. You're crazy. The Rampage dungeon, all the monsters are elite level. All the monsters inside will be upgraded by 10 levels, and the boss will also be upgraded by 20 levels. Even if you bring all the undead spirits in, you won't be able to defeat this dungeon. Do you want to go in and die? 6. Dream. I must be dreaming. You are listening at novelfull.audio. To die. Of course not to die. The monster level of the first level dungeon is 10.20, and the number of monsters ranges from a few hundred to 1,000. Even in a state of rampage, the boss's level will not exceed level 40. And besides these skeletons, zombies, and ghosts in my hands, there are also 9 level 40 black warriors, 4 level 50 witches, and 1 level 60 death knight. A boss with a maximum level of 40 and hundreds of elite monsters below level 20. I really can't bring much threat to Chang'an. Instead, it will provide Chang'an with a lot of experience and equipment. Oak saplings and the natural essence that helps the survival of saplings are not cheap. The oak trees planted in the first 3 months have already consumed almost all the savings in Chang'an's hands. Now, except for clearing the dungeon and preserving the oak forest, it's also a good opportunity to use some equipment to buy seedlings and natural essence. But looking at Yi Lingyin, who had a firm expression and firmly refused to let herself die, Chang'an knows that he wants to enter this rampage dungeon. I still need to let myself, the teacher who is somewhat responsible, go too far first. Believing in oneself is not enough to go in and die. Teacher, I really didn't go in and die. If you don't believe it, look behind you. Speaking, Chang'an waved his hand again towards the direction of the oak forest. Hoo 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 hoo. A eerie cold aura spread. A black warrior wearing heavy black armor and wielding a large sword, shrouded in the aura of death. And a witch holding a skull wand and a human skin book, surrounded by the breath of death. Together, we walked out of the oak forest and appeared in Yilingyan's field of vision. Black Warrior. Lich Demon. At the moment of seeing these two undead creatures appear, a hint of panic flashed on Yilingyan's face. But after realizing that these undead creatures appeared because of Chang'an's command, she suddenly turned her head to look at Changan. These undead creatures. Are they all summoned by you? Changan didn't speak. But the black warriors and witches he summoned. But he took the initiative to bow to Changan, confirming Yilingyan's speculation. Only endless shock remained on Yilingyan's face. Surprisingly, it was actually summoned by Changan. In addition to being able to summon thousands of low-level skeleton soldiers and hundreds of zombies and ghosts, Changan can still summon multiple advanced undead creatures such as black warriors and witches. You should know, even if you are the Lord of Fengshan City, he is just a level 50 professional. But Changan can summon a complex of 50-level undead creatures. It's not an exaggeration to say that relying solely on the undead creatures summoned by Changan now, I already have the power to compete with all the professionals in Fengshan City. Before that, Changan was just a level 1 necromancer. What a powerful talent this is. Can a level 1 necromancer possess such powerful summoning abilities? Moreover, Changan is only at level 1 and is so powerful. If we ask him to level up again, if you elevate a professional's level to level 20, 30, 40, or higher, how powerful a legion of undead can he summon? At that time, I'm afraid Changan may not be the only one. Can we fight against all professionals in a large country? Chang'an's talent is simply so powerful that it goes without logic. How could such an outrageous thing happen in the real world? Dreaming. I must be dreaming. She is now very skeptical, suspecting that she is dreaming. How else would I have seen such an outrageous thing happen? Okay. Looking at Yilingyan, who was a bit dizzy in front of her, Changan didn't say anything more. He bypassed Yilingyan in front of him and walked straight towards the entrance of the Rampage dungeon. The whole person feels like an ally. Yilingyan, who suspected herself of dreaming, did not continue to obstruct Changan. So Changan invited her and arrived below the entrance of the Rampage dungeon. The first time you place a dungeon, it's a Rampage dungeon. For safety reasons, except for the undead summon now. Bring my strongest combat power with you. Changan's mind twitched slightly. Step by step. A knight dressed entirely in black heavy armor, wielding a black heavy cavalry gun, wielding a huge horse-slaying sword at his waist, with eyes as crimson as blood, full of killing and madness. Riding his 5-meter-long, 3-meter shoulder-high, and also dressed in black armor, the undead warhorse arrived at Changan's side. I have the newly acquired Death Knight here. I'm sure I'm absolutely foolproof of this Rampage dungeon. Feeling the strong sense of security brought by the Death Knight, like a heavy tank, Changan was full of confidence and used his own consciousness to link the replica entrance. The next moment, Changan is with all the undead creatures he summons. Disappeared in this oak forest. Coming into this world, the first instance of dungeon cultivation after awakening professional identity. Official start. P.S. The first day results of the new book are extremely important. Please ask the big shots to give some flowers and review tickets to support. As long as there are 1,000 flowers, 100 reviews, or 10 comments on the first day, the author will directly update 10 chapters tomorrow. If all of them are met, the author will update 10 chapters every day and put them on the shelves. 7. Fight more and more. This is the Legion of the Undead. You are listening at novelfull.audio. You have entered the first level dungeon. Orc Horde. Tip. To complete this dungeon, break through the level and destroy the Orc tribe. Tip. The level of the regular monster in this instance is 10.15, and the level of the boss is 20. Warning. Due to the phenomenon of dungeon rampage, the monster level in the dungeon is +10, and the boss level in the dungeon is +20. The number of ordinary monsters has been increased to 500%. Warning. Due to the phenomenon of instance rampage, all ordinary monsters have been upgraded to elite level, and the boss's health has increased significantly. Tip. Due to the phenomenon of instance rampage, the professional's experience gain increases by 100%, and the item drop rate increases by 50%. Turn off all copy prompts that appear in front of you. Changan crossed over to guard his undead army. Look ahead of your own field of vision. I can only see the center of the only road ahead. Dozens of ferocious-looking orc warriors are guarding the level in full readiness. Let's take a look at the levels of these orc warriors first. Changan through a reconnaissance technique. I have reviewed some of the attributes of these orc warriors. Monster. Orc warrior *50, level 23 elite monster, skills. Rage slash, beast roar, blood fury, 1 elite level monster can defeat 5 monsters of the same level. At least 3 professionals at the same level need to work together to kill it. In this rampage dungeon, there is only one small level. 50 elite level monsters appeared. It can only be said that it is truly a copy of the rampage state. The quality and quantity of this monster far exceed that of a normal dungeon. If placed outside, the city guard of Fengchen City needs to deploy at least 300 soldiers. Only then can they all be eliminated without any casualties. Facing this number of elite monsters, skeleton soldiers and zombies can only play a role in delaying time. It's obviously impossible to eliminate them with the skeleton soldiers and zombies in my hands. Complete the dungeon within 1 hour. A second wave of monsters will break out of the rampage dungeon and continue to destroy their own oak grove. Chang'an is not prepared to delay for too long at this level. So, he looked at the 4 witches in his undead army. Summoned item. Lich *4, level. Level 50, skills. Poisonous Witch Cloud, Death Ray, Intermediate Elemental Magic, Intermediate Curse Magic, Intermediate Necromancer Magic, a level 50 witch. I can definitely easily kill these 50 orcs and behead them. Directly use the Poisonous Witch Cloud to eliminate them. Changan orders are issued. 4 witches simultaneously raised their wands in their hands. The strong breath of death began to fluctuate violently. Transformed into an emerald green poisonous cloud, it enveloped the entire checkpoint. Subsequently, clusters of gas bombs with a diameter of 5 or 6 meters were formed. Like raindrops pouring down towards the level where the orcs are located. And in front of Changan, once again, a series of experience acquisition prompts appeared. Overkill level 23 elite orc warriors, gain a lot of experience, and elevate your level to level 11. Overkill level 23 elite orc warriors, gain a lot of experience, and increase level progress. Overkill level 23 elite orc warriors, gain a lot of experience, and elevate your level to level 12. 3 minutes. It's just 3 minutes. This requires 500 city guard soldiers to eliminate 50 elite orc warriors. Under the highly poisonous witch clouds of 4 witches. Together with all the defensive fortifications in the entire level. It has become a venomous and concentrated water flowing on the ground, and has become an experience point for Changan. Improve Chang'an's own level. Once again, it soared from level 10 to level 13. Is this the only level of elite monsters at level 23? I don't feel any pressure at all. Keep moving forward and quickly clear this dungeon. Chang'an's mind was spinning. Prepare to continue advancing with your undead army. But at this moment, he suddenly reached the level that had already been flattened. I saw 2 milky white light clusters slowly drifting into mid-air. The light cluster rose from the place where the monster died. Is this explosive equipment? Changan felt a slight joy in his heart. hurry up and have the nearest skeleton soldier. Bring these 2 milky white light clusters in front of me. And after arriving in Chang'an's hands, these 2 milky white light clusters. The attribute information of the equipment was also presented to Chang'an. Equipment. Orc's beheading sword, blue, attribute. Strength +5, stamina +5, entry. 1, can trigger the blood fury effect. For every 10 seconds of combat time, strength and stamina attributes will each increase by 1. Requirement. Level 15, with hands, equipment. Orc heavy armor, blue, attribute. Physical strength +10, entry. When taking damage, you can reduce the damage by 5%. Requirement. Level 15, humanoid 2 great pieces of equipment. Unfortunately, none of them are suitable for my mage class equipment. Once the issue with the Rampage dungeon is resolved, just take it out and sell it for money. Put away 2 pieces of equipment. Changan waved his hand. Bring along the undead legion around you. Follow the only path under your feet. The orc tribe towards the end of the dungeon has begun to move forward. The road to the orc tribe is not peaceful. Occasionally, an orc team would jump out and launch attacks on the road. If it's an ordinary professional team, perhaps they will be overwhelmed by such attacks. But unfortunately, Changan is not an ordinary professional team. Relying on the 4 witches beside Changan, all the teams of suddenly emerging orcs, they will be attacked by the death ray of the Lich in the first instance. Killed under the terrifying death, turned into corpses one by one. Then under the control of the necromancy magic of the witches. Become a zombie and get up again, join the undead army in Changan. On the way from the level to the orc tribe, the number of undead legions has not decreased. Instead, more than 100 elite-level orc warriors were added. The more you fight, this is the undead legion. However, it shouldn't be that simple anymore. Take your gaze away from the corpses of those orc warriors. Chang'an's gaze. Looking ahead, the orc tribe built on the wilderness. And information about the orc tribe, with the use of reconnaissance techniques, presented in front of Changan. P.S. The first day results of the new book are extremely important. Please ask the big shots to give some flowers and review tickets to support. As long as there are 1,000 flowers, 100 reviews, or 10 comments on the first day, the author will directly update 10 chapters tomorrow. If all of them are met, the author will update 10 chapters every day and put them on the shelves. 8. Is that all for the Rampage dungeon? An easy victory. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Base. Medium orc tribe, architecture. Stone city walls, watchtowers, arrow towers. Power. 500 orc warriors, 300 orc rangers, 50 orc shamans, and 5 orc centurions. The orc warriors are the same as those encountered by Changan before. All are elite-level monsters at level 23. The other monster attributes are as follows. Monster. Orc Ranger * 300, level 24 elite monster, skills. Samsung combo shooting, double shooting, eagle eye technique, monster. Orc Shaman * 50, level 25 elite monster, skills. Bloodthirsty, lightning shield, healing ray, lightning chain, monster. Orc Centurion * 5, level 25th level boss level monster, skills. Warrior / Blood Fury, War Treading. The dungeon boss did not appear with the small monsters in the final level. So, is the boss of this instance the type that only appears last? Changan remembers mentioning it in the high school curriculum teaching. The bosses in the dungeon can be roughly divided into 2 types. One type is a boss that will appear along with the monsters in the final level. This type of boss tends to engage in multiplayer combat, with most of the skills being enhanced by subordinates, but their own strength is generally relatively weak. As long as the monsters around the boss are cleared, it can be easily eliminated. Another type. This is what I am currently facing. A boss who only appears after all the monsters in the final level have died. The individual strength of this boss is extremely strong, even exceeding the combat power of the dungeon level. It often brings great trouble to professionals. Although individual bosses are troublesome. But it doesn't necessarily pose any threat to me. Hurry up and clear this dungeon quickly. A finger pointing towards the direction of the orc tribe. Changan ordered loudly. Strike out the whole army and annihilate them. Buzzing. The first time the Changan order is issued. 4 witches were the first to raise their wands, summoning out the highly poisonous witch cloud that covered most of the orc tribes. Subsequently, huge clusters of poisonous gas descended from the sky. Attack all the buildings and orcs in the orc tribe indiscriminately. In an instant. Arrow towers, watchtowers, and building structures. Radiated by terrifying venom, one big hole after another. One orc after another. Poisoned and killed in this cluster of poisonous gas attacks. It's just a moment of effort. Hundreds of orcs died under the attack of the highly poisonous witch cloud. The orcs who were attacked also quickly responded. All surviving orc shamans. All of them communicated with the spirit of their ancestors in the first time. Summon a huge shield made of lightning to defend against the sky. Dozens of lightning shields gathered together. Surprisingly, a large shield was formed. Successfully resisted the poisonous gas cluster falling from the highly poisonous witch cloud. Obtained temporary peace for the orc tribe. And valuable, it can adjust the team's defense time against attacks. But this peace did not last too long. Before the orcs in the orc tribe can form an effective formation. Riding a 3-meter giant warhorse, wearing heavy armor, the Death Knight is as huge as a tank. Just slammed into the gate of the orc tribe with a sudden impact, bang. The terrifying power and impact poured out. The thick door made of solid wood was smashed directly, turning into a sky full of sawdust and drifting away with the wind. Subsequently, the Death Knight did not suffer any damage as a result. Carrying the huge horse-slaying sword in his hand, he rushed into the gathering orc tribe. In an instant. Blood, severed limbs, and corpses keep flying. The level 60 Death Knight is like a cold and ruthless meat grinder. Crush all the orcs it approaches. Hundreds of orc warriors and orc rangers. Unexpectedly, he was defeated by a undead from the Death Knight and unable to form an army. It's impossible to stop its footsteps at all. But this is not over yet. After the Death Knight entered the orc tribe. A black warrior with heavy armor and wielding a 2-handed sword. Powerful zombies and agile skeleton soldiers. I also followed the Death Knight and killed him. And under the leadership of the Death Knight and the Black Knight. In a faster and faster way. Crazy slaughter of every orc that appears in their sight. At the same time. Unite and use lightning shields to protect the orc shamans of Hell's poisonous witch cloud. Also suffered from the attack of the undead army. The ghosts were full of ghostly energy, constantly howling. Like a whirlwind, it crosses all the orcs on the outskirts of the orc tribe. Insert directly into the central location of the orc tribe. That's the area where these orc shamans are located. Subsequently, the ghosts who found the target were found. Directly launched a fierce attack on those orc shamans. Pity those orc shamans. Mingming has a level 25 elite level, not inferior to the strength of the ghosts. But due to the need to gather lightning shields, they were unable to fight back. All in a situation where there is no fighting power. Being ripped open by ghosts, tearing apart souls, turning into miserable corpses. It seems that my first dungeon was abandoned. It will come to a successful end soon. Outside the orc tribe. Stay with 4 witches and explore the entire Changan. I smiled as I watched the situation within the orc tribe. From entering the dungeon until now, the time spent was only half an hour. Complete a rampage dungeon in half an hour. This should also be considered an extremely rare situation, right? Plant trees and gather the dead. This choice is indeed incredibly correct. After this dungeon ends, let's continue to work hard to plant trees and accumulate more undead spirits. Chang'an secretly made up his mind. And the battles within the orc tribe. We have finally come to the end. Roar. Accompanied by the death of the last orc in the orc tribe. The roar that echoed through the entire orc tribe suddenly rang out. One head is about 3 meters tall and covered in scars. A bald orc holding a huge battle axe suddenly jumped off the city wall on the other side of the orc tribe. Precisely smash into the outer skeleton army. Subsequently, the huge battle axe in its hand swung suddenly. A huge blood-red slash was released. Crush over 100 skeleton soldiers under Chang'an's command on the spot. The boss of this rampage dungeon has appeared. P.S. The first day results of the new book are extremely important. Please ask the big shots to give some flowers and review tickets to support. As long as there are 1,000 flowers, 100 reviews, or 10 comments on the first day, the author will directly update 10 chapters tomorrow. If all of them are met, the author will update 10 chapters every day and put them on the shelves. 9. Quickly kill the boss. Rich drop harvest. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Undoubtedly a boss, it's just a debut. I caused the biggest casualties to my undead army since entering the dungeon. Let me see how your attributes are. Watching the bosses slaying in all directions among the skeleton soldiers. Changan threw over a reconnaissance technique. Boss. Orc Chieftain, level. Level 40 Lord level, skills. Fury Blood Slash, Fury Heavy Strike, Fury Triple Slash, Fury Transformation, Extreme Jump Slash, War Treading, Blood Fury, Whirlwind Slash, Dookie Sweeping, undoubtedly a boss level unit. Just having 9 skills on this body alone. No wonder it just made its debut. Causing the death of hundreds of skeleton soldiers to oneself. Unfortunately, even such a powerful orc chieftain. It cannot change the outcome of this battle either. Let's start. Kill this orc chieftain. Let me officially end my dungeon cultivation. Under the command of Changan. All the skeleton soldiers and zombies around the orc chieftain. All fled in the opposite direction to the orc chieftain. The orc chieftain naturally refused to let go of these skeleton soldiers and zombies. But we haven't waited for the orc chieftain to start chasing. For rays filled with the breath of death. Just hit the orc chieftain first. Roar. The death ray emitted by a level 50 witch demon. It directly penetrated the body of the orc chieftain. Although it cannot be directly killed. But it also made the orc chieftain let out a painful roar. Unable to continue chasing the fleeing skeleton soldiers and zombies. It is also the time of this gap. The Death Knight is located in another direction of the orc tribe. I also successfully arrived at the area where the orc chieftain was located. And raised his spear towards the orc chieftain, firing a cavalry charge. Roar. Facing the fierce Death Knight. The orc chieftain did not accept the battle from the front. But with a slight bend in both legs. Prepare to use the extreme jump slash skill to avoid the attack of the Death Knight. But the death ray of the Lich has come again. The orc chieftain has just made a move to use the jump slash skill. For death rays first hit the knees of the orc chieftain's legs. Roar. The intense pain and cessation of the orc chieftain's skill usage. The Death Knight's spear was also at the same time. Directly penetrating the body of the orc chieftain. Nail it directly to the ground. Oh, oh, oh. The orc chieftain let out another howl of sorrow. But the Death Knight will not stop attacking because of its howls. After nailing the orc chieftain to the ground. The Death Knight who intertwined with the orc chieftain. Immediately remove the galloping sword from his waist and drive the warhorse under his crotch back to the side of the orc chieftain. Pushi. One cut. It's just a knife. The Death Knight beheaded the orc chieftain. Ending the pain of the orc chieftain. Congratulations, you have successfully cleared the Rampage dungeon. The Rampage status of the dungeon has been lifted. Reminder. Half an hour later, dungeon settlement will begin. Please collect any dropped items from the dungeon as soon as possible. Overkill level 40 boss orc chieftain, level has reached level 20 and has not completed professional specialization, you cannot obtain kill experience. Your level has reached the limit of a novice professional. Please complete the professional specialization task to continue gaining experience and level up. It's level 20. Ordinary professionals. Even if you go down to dungeons and monsters every day. It also takes nearly half a year to reach level 20. I only used 1 day. I successfully reached this level. This upgrade speed is as fast as riding a rocket. Compared to the current upgrade speed. The 3-month leveling time delayed by planting trees before. It's simply not worth mentioning. The route of growing stronger by planting trees. It is indeed a better route than simply relying on monster spawning to upgrade. The correctness of planting trees is beyond doubt. Compared to this, it's time to collect loot now. Watching the light clusters floating in the orc tribe. Chang'an's heart twitched slightly. The skeleton soldiers in the orc tribe immediately took action. Bringing white light clusters one by one to Changan. The drop harvest of this instance is very lucrative. Chang'an conducted an inventory. Found a total of 3 pieces of equipment and 2 skill books dropped. The 4 pieces of equipment are. Equipment. Chief War Axe, Gold, Attribute. Strength plus 30, Stamina plus 20, Entry. Can use the skill, Extreme Strike, to deal huge damage to enemies. Requirement. Level 15, with hands, equipment. Shaman Staff, Silver, Attribute. Intelligence plus 20, Spirit plus 10, Entry. The skill, Bloodthirsty Technique, can be used to increase the damage caused by the target being used and obtain a blood-sucking effect. Requirement. Level 15, Hands and Brains, Equipment. Ancestor Ring, Silver, Attribute. Spirit plus 10, Entry. You can use teleportation to summon a level 15 ghost wolf to assist in combat. Requirement. Level 15, with fingers or similar body tissue, many people take 6 months to upgrade from level 1 to level 20. It's difficult to gather all the blue equipment together. And for myself, it's only 1 day. You have obtained 5 pieces of equipment, 1 gold, 2 silver, 2 blue. It can only be said that it is truly a Rampage dungeon. This output is amazing. Take a look at these 2 skill books again. Put away these equipment. Chang'an looked at the attributes of the remaining 2 skill books. Skill book. Angry Blood / Warrior, Effect. After use, you can learn the warrior skill Angry Blood / dealing a large amount of damage to enemies and adding a bleeding effect. Requirement. Warrior Profession, Skill Book. Basic Strength, General, Effect. After use, you can learn the general skill, Basic Strength, which increases the owner's strength attribute by 10 points at each level. Requirement. Have a brain. Surprisingly, there is a universal skill book. The Angry Blood / skill did not surprise Changan. But this basic physical skill book. But it surprised Chang'an a little. In this world, skill books are divided into vocational skill books and general skill books. A vocational skill book means that only the corresponding profession can learn that skill. And universal skill books can be used not only for any profession. As long as it's a smart creature, it can be used. Even ordinary people without professions. You can also learn general skills. But the success rate of this skill book is extremely low. Many people spend a whole year scrolling through dungeons. It is only possible to release a general skill book. And that's just the output. But it requires digestion from all professionals and non-professionals. Therefore, every universal skill book is extremely precious. And myself, it's just the first time I've made a dungeon. A general skill book exploded. I'm really lucky. Or do I have the bonus of high-level dungeons in low-level professions? Chang'an did not come up with a specific reason. Because it was during the time when he was thinking about this question. The settlement time for the replica has arrived. P.S. The first day results of the new book are extremely important. Please ask the big shots to give some flowers and review tickets to support. As long as there are 1,000 flowers, 100 reviews, or 10 comments on the first day, the author will directly update 10 chapters tomorrow. If all of them are met, the author will update 10 chapters every day and put them on the shelves. 10. Dark Gold Level Equipment. Top Level Skill Book. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Congratulations. You have successfully cleared the first level Rampage dungeon, Orc Horde, and now the dungeon clearance settlement is starting. Checking clearance time. And, this clearance time is 36 minutes and 53 seconds. The difficulty level of the dungeon is Rampage level, and the clearance evaluation has been improved. Challenge the dungeon beyond the level, and the evaluation has been improved. The clearance time is S level, and the evaluation has been improved. Congratulations, your final clearance rating is S. Is it an S.level clearance evaluation? Changan nodded slightly. The dungeon of this world will be cleared. We will evaluate professionals based on their performance and data. The lowest level is D level, and the highest level is S. According to different evaluations, professionals will receive varying degrees of punishment or rewards. A level C pass rating is a reward bonus. I don't know about this S.level evaluation either. What level of reward enhancement can it bring me? Looking at my S.level evaluation. Changan couldn't help but have some expectations in his heart. And in the anticipation of Changan. The reward for completing the dungeon has finally arrived as scheduled. Congratulations. You have received a huge experience reward, tip. Due to reaching level 20, you cannot continue to gain experience. The reward experience has been converted into an experience ball and can be used after completing professional specialization. Congratulations. You have obtained silver level equipment. Orc heavy armor. Congratulations. You have obtained the general skill book. Intermediate strength, Rampage dungeon will definitely drop upon completion. Look at the copy prompt in front of you. Changan raised his eyebrows slightly. The general skill book for intermediate powers, which is bound to drop in a Rampage instance, is a bit precious. What are the other two rewards? S-level clearance reward, is that all? This is too. I didn't wait for Changan to express his thoughts. The prompt for the copy appeared again. Reminder. Due to your S.level clearance evaluation, the quality of the rewards you have received this time has been improved. The improved rewards are: Huge Experience Ball *1 Huge Experience Ball *5. Equipment. Orc Belt, Silver, Beast King Belt, Dark Gold. Skill Book. Intermediate Strength Skill Book Top Strength Skill Book. Chang'an's eyebrows suddenly relaxed. Turning one experience ball into 5 experience balls will not be mentioned for now. Dark Gold level equipment is 1 level higher than Gold level equipment. A huge wind trace city, with known Dark Gold level equipment on the surface. There are only 3 of them, and all of them are in the hands of big shots. As for the general skill book for top.level powers, it is even harder to see, even rarer big treasure. even if it's searching the entire Windtrace city. It's not necessarily possible to find a second top-level strength skill book. Is this the degree of increase in S.level clearance evaluation? It is truly an S.level clearance evaluation. The increase in clearance evaluation. It's simply terrifying. I didn't expect this reward to be so awesome. Hurry up and take a look at the attributes of this dark gold level equipment and top-level skill book. Changan immediately took out the Beast King belt. Check the attributes of this dark gold level equipment. Equipment. Beast King belt, dark gold, attribute. Stamina plus 80, strength plus 20, entry. 1. Increase stamina attribute by an additional 50 points. 2. Use the Beast King Roar skill to cause a 3-second stun effect on units within 5 meters of the surrounding area. The higher the target stamina attribute, the shorter the effective time. Requirement. Level 20, not a beast, it is truly a dark gold level equipment. Just in terms of attributes. Added 100 attributes. But what's even more terrifying is the entry effect of this equipment. Not to mention the entry one that adds 50 points of physical attributes. This is the Beast King Roar skill that can cause 3 seconds of dizziness. It can definitely be considered a top-level control skill. This is a control skill that lasts for 5 seconds. They don't need to be used properly. As long as you use it, you can definitely rewrite the battle results of the same level. There is this skill available. Even if there are other dark gold equipment that increase attributes better than the Beast King belt. Even normal people would choose the Beast King belt as their equipment. The attribute of this Beast King belt is simply invincible. Undoubtedly a dark gold level equipment, it is truly terrifying. After carefully collecting the Beast King's belt, Changan continued to look at the top-level general skills book. Skill book. Top strength skill book, effect. After use, you can learn the general skill, top strength, and each skill level can increase the owner's strength attribute by 60 points. Top strength skills at each level. You can increase your strength attribute by 60 points. Equivalent to increasing natural attribute growth by 6 levels. And all universal skills can be upgraded to level 10. That is to say, a top-level strength skill at full level can provide 600 strength attributes for a professional. This is an additional attribute. Not attributes that can only be increased by level growth and free attribute points. For any physics professional. This top-level strength skill book. It can definitely be considered a divine level skill book. As long as it appears on the market. It will definitely cause a frenzy among all physics professionals. Good thing. What a good thing. The clearance reward of this riot copy is really awesome. After happily collecting the top strength skill book, Changan adjusted his mind in the replica settlement space. Then he chose to leave the dungeon. P.S. The first day is over, there are only 42 flowers left to reach 1000, am not meeting the requirements, but since we are already very close, let's add another chapter tomorrow. Then there will be updates after the first day. After the first day, an average of 1 chapter will be added for every 1000 flowers, 100 reviews, or 10 reviews. There hasn't been anyone bubbling up in the comments section. Let's have a big shot take away all the blood from our book. Please. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th.